Okay, so you're just gonna record it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome.
All right, let me start letting the people in. See if I can find some music or something. Admit, admit, admit.
Wait, hold on. Don't let people.
Oh,
It's okay, it's okay. There it is. Okay, got it.
hi all. Welcome. We'll get started in a few minutes. It's 6:35, so just hold tight till then. Do what you need to do, and thank you for coming. All right, y'all. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Jeray Lucas. I'm the program manager here at Queer Cultural Center. And I'm joined today by Vienna Alvarez, our production manager here at the Queer Cultural Center. Thank y'all for coming so much to our Creating Queer Communities Level 2 info session. We're super excited to be doing the open call for our second cohort this year for the 2025-2026 programming season. And today, what we're just going to be going over is a bit about what the program is, what you can expect from it, and what you can expect from this application process so you can be best prepared to submit a successful application. We'll let you all know what our standards are, do some breakdowns into the rubric, and kind of make sure everybody's on the same page about expectations. So thank y'all for coming. This is also going to be recorded. So just letting you know, if you do not want to be seen on screen, this will be put on our website. Just wanting to put that forward so that y'all can opt out of that if you choose to. But just letting you know. So we'll get started. Mm-mm. Okay, so who's QCC? So the Queer Cultural Center promotes social justice in the arts and economic evolution of LGBTQ2S plus art and culture in the San Francisco Bay Area. We commission new work, present performing arts programs, conduct artistic services, and advocate for justice and equity in the arts. We've been around for about 20 plus years. We are essentially almost like an incubator for a lot of queer-led organizations that are around in the Bay. So think like Queer Ancestors Project, ABC Comics, Bates. We're joined by a really powerful group of fiscal sponsors that are made up of artists and really amazing organizations, new and old. And so yeah, we love to promote them and work with them throughout the year for our festival, which the Creating Queer Communities Level 2 is a part of. So what is Creating Queer Communities Level 2 and what is the point? So CQC2 was birthed out of the Creating Queer Communities program, which was essentially a program early on in QCC's history that supported artists in being a part of our National Queer Arts Festival that takes place every year. Creating Queer Communities Level 2 was created in order to zero in on the event production process for new and emerging event curators. And by new and emerging, we'll get into how we define that and the amount of years and experience we're looking for. So we're not thinking, brand new, but more so like 1 to 3 years of experience. You have some experience putting on some events, an audience that you turn to. This program is to support you in growing and expanding your professional development skills so you can do what you do for and with community with more ease and also institutional backing. So CQC2 is a professional development training program for queer and trans event producers in the San Francisco Bay Area. And like I said, is based on the original Creating Queer Communities program, which has helped sponsor and support Bay Area arts events for the past 25 years. Okay, so what is the National Queer Arts Festival? So the National Queer Arts Festival takes place from May to June annually. This past year, I believe, yes, for the past year and then this coming year, we'll be doing the festival in the spring and fall, but we are shifting back to the model of just doing one spring festival in order to maximize and, consolidate our promotion efforts, resources, all of those things, and kind of give folks more of a rich experience. So the theme for the 2026 National Queer Arts Festival is Magic Mirror, Everything is Everything. What this is it will be an experience where we hope to elevate works that explore representation, inner conversation, and being transported to new, more expansive planes of consciousness. So what does all this mean? Essentially, we are hoping to emphasize the idea that we create our realities, that we are, the ones present to shape what we want to see for our future, versus, kind of being placed in this corner that I think a lot of, the world at large right now wants to essentially project onto us. We are stating through this work, we are looking for work that states within this theme that we are the ones who are creating our world going forward, and this is what it will look like. So to expand upon this a little more, mirrors can offer clarity about what is, while incorporating magic expands the idea to a means of communication, point of entry, and method of travel. As traditional societal systems appear bent on amplifying tired notions of division and suppression, QCC seeks work that represents worlds where otherworldly inclusiveness, unity, and collective creative expansion are the norm. So the world as we see it and we believe it should be. That is the work we're looking for next year. So the basics about the program. This open call is for the level 2 cohort of creating queer communities. We have a level 1. Level 1 is for our emerging artists. So it's two different groups of folks, but it's not necessarily like, we are aware that not every artist is an event producer and not every event producer is an artist. So just wanting to name that, but and add some clarity about the levels. But this is the second iteration, which is for folks who have a bit more experience in community and running events once again. So the Queer Cultural Center will select 5 applications for the CQC2 cohort. CQC2 cohort members will receive professional development workshops, and will produce an individual cultural event as a part of QCC's 2026 National Queer Arts Festival. Now, to clarify, we are accepting collectives as well, but point being, each selected party or individual will curate one event as a part of a festival that lasts a month and a half from late May to the end of June. Okay, so this program has 3 parts: production, professional development, and your one-to-ones, which are, kind of are a space where everything intersects. But for this year, we'll be primarily focusing on production within these one-to-ones after what we learned this year with our first cohort. Production. So this program holds a lot of production deadlines that folks do need to be cognizant of, like on entry of the program, because while there is a lot of like spaciousness in the learning experience, like within the workshop space, production wise, we are on a schedule for the next 9 months, considering that we have to, acquire things for and with you all, like venues. There's a lot of preparation that has to be done months in advance to ensure the festival is also successfully marketed and provided with accessibility measures and all of those things. So production within the CQC2 program is something that we work with you and your team, or that we work with you to create. So there's going to be a timeline that you all receive, that we really, really emphasize that, should you get in, you pay attention to, put those dates on your calendar, all of the things, so that we can have a smooth program and your show can be as successful as we know it can be. We highly suggest also we will be having our shows for this past cohort over the next few weeks. So if you all want to see some examples of like what we're talking about, please come out and see some of the shows or events included in our festival. Our first will be next week. Please check out our website. Professional development, we will be doing monthly, about 90-minute professional development sessions, 90 minutes to 2 hours, via Zoom, on different topics such as project planning, sponsorship acquisition, cultural organizing, tech, marketing, I think, and accessibility, and I think some other topics as well. Once a month, folks are able to get an honorarium from each workshop if you attend. and complete all necessary assignments. And the one-to-ones are where essentially within the program you are going to be connecting with myself and then mostly Vienna for CQC2 for your production and essentially planning support needs. Like I said, there are things that have to be done way in advance that it's kind of going to feel, should you get in the program, like we're hitting the ground running. So as you're applying, please just be ready for that. Because of that, we are looking for projects that are, I'll say pretty fully formed, um, in the sense that we're going to be ready to get started as soon as, we select y'all and we have that orientation. So just wanting to name that. All right. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, cute. So the benefits. So QT BIPOC artists selected for the 2025-2026 CQC Level 2 Artistic Project Development Cohort, mouthful, will receive paid learning opportunities, like I said, a hands-on workshop topics, including fundraising, financial literacy, technical aspects of production, marketing, promotion, accessibility, and project planning, a $5,000 artist commission to produce an event that will be a part of QCC's 2026 Spring Queer Arts Festival. Commission award is contingent on successful completion of the required workshops, professional photo documentation of your event, and networking opportunities with fellow cohort members and other Bay Area QT BIPOC arts leaders. Yeah. Okay, so eligibility. This is super important. So please just make sure, um, you know, you are aware of these following criteria. This is our minimum, just like the basics, before we get into more of what we're looking for within the applications. So please be at least 18 years old. Please identify as a member of the LGBTQIA2S plus community. Please identify as Black, Indigenous, or another person of color. Please be willing to support a W-9 for tax purposes. Please be an individual artist or arts group or collective based in San Francisco Bay Area. Note that if you do apply with a group or collective, please designate one primary person who will attend workshops on your behalf to support continuity of learning slash support you all with like admin things so that we're not maybe, reaching out to like 5 or 10 people, but just one. That would be super great. So please have a point of contact. Not currently, please do not be a fiscally sponsored project of QCC right now. I don't think that's any of you. Please do, we really prefer that you or ask that if you have been a part of a CQC cohort within the past calendar year, that you wait for that year and then apply. Please, we ask that you all commit to attend mandatory workshops from July 2025 to May 2026. Some workshops may be in person, and some are virtual. Mostly they have been virtual, but just wanting to let you all know, please be ready for that should that need to be and should one of those sessions need to be in person. Have 1 to 3 years of experience in event production or have produced more than one event in the past 2 years. All right. Okay, project eligibility. So, proposed projects or events must support QCC's goal to nourish, connect, and mobilize queer and trans communities in the San Francisco Bay Area. Must align with this year's theme, Magic Mirror, Everything is Everything. Be able to be realistically implemented within a 10-month timeline. So more to that, like fully formed, kind of knowing the who, what, where, when, and how, and that, just wanting to emphasize that clearly formed ideas with a pretty well formed plan of action as best as you can get it. Fall clearly into one or more of the following disciplines: literary, theater or performance, dance or movement, music, visual arts, nightlife, or drag. Please note, video or film can be incorporated into your project, but CQC does not support projects that are primarily film. So, example, a documentary or narrative film or short film or feature length. If you're a filmmaker, we encourage you to reach out to our sister organizations, QuackMat, which is one of our fiscally sponsored programs, Frameline, and the SF Transgender Film Festival. Okay, so once again, same thing for you, but in visual form. Just giving some examples, and I'll run through some of these. So, literary, we need poetry, playwrights, songwriters, novelists, graphic novelists, storytellers, spoken word, actors, performers for theater, sorry, actors, performers, artists, playwrights, directors, dancer movement, dancers, movement artists, choreographers, music, singers, musicians, DJs, music producers, visual artists, painters, printmakers, sculptors, ceramics, potters, photographers, comics, and multimedia artists, and then nightlife, drag or club, DJs, party planners, lip sync event producers. Um, and yeah, I'll just say as an example, we have this year, like we have a fashion show, we have an exhibition that's also a poetry reading. We have a it's a soundscape meditation experience. Um, we have a concert, and we also have a party that is, yeah, linked to a fundraiser. So like kind of things like that. That's more of what we're thinking, and these are the disciplines that we're hoping are comprised within what you do or what you're proposing. And we do really emphasize that whatever you propose really involves community. The more community involvement, the better. The more people you have working with you, the better. The more people you have invested in your vision, the better. And that is who we've leaned, or that at least last year, but this will continue, that we lean toward choosing um, within this program. Okay, selection process. The selection committee for this cohort consists of QCC's full-time staff members. Finalists will be selected based on this rubric, which we'll go over a little bit in the next slide. Initial review. We will review applications as a group and determine which project best meets these criteria. Um, Applicant and project meet all eligibility criteria, and then project alignment with QCC's objective to nourish, connect, and mobilize queer and trans communities in the SF Bay Area, and project alignment with the festival theme, Magic Mirror, Everything is Everything. And then also how well the project complements other selected projects to form a cohesive and connected festival together. Definitely want to emphasize this because we are a festival. So that being said, um, being that we're also only accepting 5 events this go around, it's not necessarily how we choose, is not necessarily always based on the merit of the event. We've received a lot of great applications last year. And the thing that really was like the make or break was the cohesiveness of the experience that we're making for the artists, and also where folks were in their journeys, how much we have seen that they've been invested in the past. We tended to move toward folk who had a strong community vision, but not as much institutional backing or funding, and also really complemented other events in the festival. So just wanting to name that. And final review, we'll and almost. Then we'll do a final review. Can you go back one? Thank you. Um, we'll do one interview via Zoom. They'll be held from June 16th to the 20th. So please have that week available. We'll have some availabilities that you could schedule on our calendar, but just want to underline that week for y'all. And then we will notify applicants selected for the cohort by July 1st. Thank you, Vanna. Okay, so the rubric. So this is, more so focusing on the explanation, or not the explanation, but the criteria For each of these categories is what I want to do. I'll just very name for the rubric. The points are just, to help us get through this, but really what I want you all to focus on is more so what we're looking for in these descriptions. So we are looking for someone who is proposing an event in alignment with past events they have produced before. This is in the excellent category. This description includes who the event is for and why it should be produced for SNQAF 26. The event's overall purpose or takeaway for their audience is stated. There is at least one specific activity that will be taking place during the event. How their event aligns to the QCC's SNQAF 26 theme, Magic Mirror, Everything is Everything. Feasibility applicant's event can be produced in 9 months and requires little administrative support from QCC. By administrative support, we mean we are not necessarily running your team or like managing, the division of labor amongst you and who you're working with, but we're more so the folks who you meet once a month for support, should you need help with your budget, or should you need help trying to acquire more funding, but that hands-on work, that is you. That is why we ask for more experienced teams to apply. QCC's mission alignment. Um, The applicant's event carries out QCC's mission of connecting, mobilizing, and nourishing the nourishing QT BIPOC communities. All right. And then for fair, um, yeah, y'all see it, the only the differences there are really we this category is touches on some of the points, not all of them. Essentially, the excellent is what you want to strive toward. That's like all the things we're looking for is in the excellent category. But please just understand, um, what a fully fleshed out um, proposal looks like versus slightly or halfway so please just do pay attention to this as you're writing, so that we can get as clear of an understanding of your project as possible. That's super helpful. Yeah, thank you, Vienna. Okay, great. All right, so the application breakdown. These are the questions. Yay. This will be due June 9th. Sorry, we do have to update that. So we ask for your basic information, name, pronouns, number, home address, website, social media links, all of these things. We ask for a lead artist bio. If you're applying as a group or collective, an organization description or group description. We ask what parts of the LGBTQIA2S plus community you identify with, what cultural identities and legacies inform your art practices. I will say for this question, we do look for events that are rooted in creating of uh, more understanding of uh, folks' cultures, experiences, lived experiences, or even, like political, um, I don't want to say, I don't want to say political views because really what we're looking for is almost like cultural organizing, in a way. So like, for example, we have an event called Pachacuti this go around that's raising money for queer Andean folks in Peru. But it's a party. So like something like that, or the Limitless fashion show that's happening on Thursday. You should go. Is, amplifying Black and brown queer bodies in fashion and amplifying Black and brown designers. So things like that. Artistic programs, please add a link to or upload your artist CV or resume listing your accomplishments as an artist and or event producer. Please don't worry about your resume being super, it doesn't have to be super fancy or anything. We just want to know what you've done, preferably in a list versus a paragraph. That's all I'm looking for is just bullet points. That's it, just bullet points. So that's all. That's the only reason we're asking for a resume. So it doesn't need to be super polished or anything, just clear. Um, Project information, project title. Yeah, please have that. Artistic discipline. Oh, yeah. I'll say please have things like your title, your overview, because within the program, while we are, there is some flexibility to change things as you are learning. There are some things that are easier for folks to have, set. Like the sooner you have your name and your description, the sooner you can start working on your marketing, which means the more you get to promote your show, which means it's a better show and so on and so forth, right? So like the more straightforward or clear you are with your vision, the more you'll be able to get out of this program. Project overview. Tell us about the event you envision showing during the 2026 Spring National Queer Arts Festival. Your overview should include a project summary and concept inclusive of your artistic vision, how that vision aligns to QCC's NQAF 2026 theme, your goals, and your decision to undertake the project at this time, and a brief timeline. I will also say, with that, your decision to undertake this project at this time, um, this is something that is also kind of like one of those make or break points. Why you, why now is a very important question to be able to answer, not only for this program, but just like for any application, especially if you are applying for funding of any kind, even though the grant landscape right now looks wild. That is a good thing, especially not even just for grant funding, but also sponsorship, to be able to name and be clear about, whether you're in this program or not. But that is a make or break thing for us. Artistic partners. Who are the main artistic collaborators or project partners, artists, organizations, technicians, or administrators? How will they contribute to the project? Please provide brief biological information, biographical. That's not what that, okay, I need my glasses, child. Biographical information as appropriate. Um, so that just, I think that's pretty clear. Great. Venue. Do you already have a desired venue you want to produce your event at? If so, where? Please include a contact, name, and email for each venue listed. Venues will be contacted within the section to process to verify, selection process to verify. So what we put this here because we are going to, like we said, be jumping right into it and trying to reserve these venues. That is, I think, the first thing that we do within this program is getting your venue. Um, 9 months is already kind of a tight venue timeline, depending on the venue, especially some of our larger spaces like Somarts that we used, or I think several other, I forgot who else was had a longer timeline this year. But a lot of venues that we work with generally have quite a long timeline, or, you know, it's you have more options the earlier you start. So you don't necessarily have to have them selected, but please maybe at least be in contact with like 1 to 2 folks. That could just be you reached out to them and you have had like a couple emails back and forth that they'd be interested in your event. It's not something where it's necessarily like you have to go into negotiations, but maybe y'all know each other's name. That's more what we're looking for. We understand if you haven't confirmed it yet, that's fine, but we do want to know that you are in contact with folks so that things go a bit more smoothly once you do get into the program. Um, Project budget. Please upload a project budget for your proposed event. We have a template for a budget that you can use. Please use that template. There is also a overview, I think a budgeting workshop that is linked on the QCC website should you need support making a budget. So please take advantage of that should you need it. Work samples, you may provide up to 3 work samples totaling 5 minutes of material to review. Work samples can be provided using online links, video or audio, and uploading JPEGs and PDFs. For video and audio samples, please let us know the timestamps, start and end for the portion we should review. Now, with your work samples, we are really wanting to see your track record as an event producer. Um, yeah, that's it. So like if it's something where it's like, if you're, let's say you're an artist and you also produce events, we want to see more of the event production side. And if there's a space where those two things intersect, dope. But we're really looking for folks who um have either, are either used to working with community or like with a group of people, not necessarily like a collective, but you have um you have worked with community in the past. We're not really looking for folks who, let's say you just moved to the Bay, right? And it's like your first year here. Um, cool, great. I think what we'd want to see is like folks who have maybe done like a couple events in the Bay Area and are, trying to build a network here. So that's what we're wanting to see in a track record, experience wise. Um, yeah, yeah. And then we have our demographic section. Um, this is not a this is not factored into the application. We did say we would like this, we prefer um, to really pour into QT BIPOC folk right now. Not right now, but that is a part of what we hope to do as a center. So there's that, naming that, but outside of that, we shouldn't necessarily, demographics won't really apply. Yeah. Important dates. So, today is the information center or session. Yay. Applications are due on June 9th. This should be changed. My apologies. We pushed the deadline back since we got this out a bit late. So June 9th is the deadline. Once again, June 9th is the deadline. Finalist interviews will be from June 16th to June 20th. Um, you all will be notified of selection by June 27th, 2025. I will do my best to get back to everyone with results in a timely fashion. I do want to name that we are a 4-person team, and that I am also running 2 other programs. And so I will do my best to get back to folks, but I cannot promise that I'll be able to provide feedback surrounding applications. Um, and also want to name that should you not get into the program, that email may take a little while. So my apologies, working on that this year. Orientation, July 17th, 2025. Workshops begin in August 2025, and performances/exhibitions will be from May to June 2026. Um, yeah, and I think that is everything, y'all. So do you all have any questions? I know we just went over a lot of information. Um, yeah. Does anybody have any questions? I'll give folks a couple minutes to process.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Hi, you're echoing real bad. I'm sorry. But I can
Okay,
hear
is that
you.
better?
Yes, a lot. Thank you.
Amazing. Hello, I'm Revel. My question is like applying as a collective and attending the workshops. Like I understand there's like the main artist that's interfacing. I assume that person would be like receiving the like paid piece of the workshop, but can multiple people from the collective go and attend? Like, is there a limit to how many people can come?
Yes. So generally with this past cohort we've had, everyone from the collective, Pachacuti is our collective this year,
Mhm.
um, came to the workshops. So there's plenty of space for that. Yes, please have a point person when it comes to payment. I will say one caveat, I don't think we're going to be doing this workshop this year, but there is like, for example, like a grant writing workshop or some workshops sometimes that, a facilitator may want a smaller amount of people. So if that's ever the
Mhm.
case, we'll communicate that. However, that wasn't the case this year. So I don't think that should be an issue. So
Okay, great.
yeah.
Thank you
Mhm.
so much.
No problem.
I have a question.
Yes, hello.
Hi, thank you for sharing this information with us.
Hmm.
Um, I have a question that goes back to the CQC2 rubric on page 1
Hmm.
under the project description. It
Hmm.
says in the excellent column, it says like the second like bullet point or like hyphen, at least one specific activity that will be taking place during the event.
Hmm.
Can you give an example of what you mean by activity that's taking place during the event?
Yes. So this comes from so last year a lot of what we saw in our applications were folks who were like, this is the concept of the event. And we're like, that's so great. What's happening at the event? And then there was nothing about like what is it? Like, are we dancing? Is there a show? Are we screening a film? Like, what is the hard, like, this is what's happening um from this time to this time? Like, this is well, you don't necessarily have to have the times, but like we envision a 3 hour event where we have vendors, we have performers, we have just very bare bones of what activities you literally want to be happening versus the concept, if that makes sense. We also want
Okay.
concept, but we want those hard details as well.
Okay. So a clear description of what actually is occurring
Yes, please. Thank you.
along with the concept.
Yes, because that will tell us also production wise, that informs us of how much support you all may need. So it's for production purposes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem.
Hi, my name's Symphony. I had a question. I just wanted to know a little bit about the people y'all selected last year, whatever you want to share, and what really stood out about their applications.
Yeah, so really wanting to thank you for that. Really wanting to emphasize rooted in community, rooted in community, rooted in community. The folks we chose have a history within the Bay Area of either, maybe they're not full-time event producers, maybe they've done like events like every couple years, something like that, or like are getting an event back up, which was like Yanni's case, Limitless Fashion Show. I don't think had happened since before 2020, like before the pandemic, and they were trying to get it back off the ground. And so we were really interested and excited about that event because, and still are, it's amazing, because of one, how many folks that they work with. Like they worked with a lot of teams to, showcase, to one, put on the event, and two, are showcasing a lot of different artists' work. So we're really looking for folks who, um, we're looking for folks who are like either working with like or looking out for others like Pachacuti. Their event is also a fundraiser. I think honestly, as someone who comes from an organizing background, I think all of us actually on the team come from like organizing backgrounds, be it like labor organizing, prison abolition, stuff like that. The intersection between culture and actually getting stuff done, I think during this time is really, really important. So we are looking for events that also have that. It doesn't necessarily, not every event we chose this year had that, but each event did have something like, for example, um, T's event, Tiara's event, um, Uprising Against Empire, I believe, is essentially a community history keeping project of queer folks in the Bay Area. Um, they are essentially doing like this, the concept is mirroring struggles from that folks were participating in, supporting in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s in the Bay Area to our current political struggles that we're seeing, fighting alongside and with the Palestinian people, with, you know, uh, with slash Congolese and Sudanese folks, like against like the many genocides that are happening, like things of that nature, kind of like so in concept or in action. There's a lot of space for that. Those are the kind of events we got this year. Um, we had one event, like a couple folks did have to, for capacity reasons, step back, but we received an event that advocated slash like really held space for sex workers who wanted to essentially do healing work through writing. That was an event that we really wanted it to come on, but unfortunately their organizing took a turn and this wasn't something they had capacity for anymore. But things like that, um, that's what we're looking for. This isn't really the space for, we love the traditional arts. We love us, love them. But this isn't necessarily like we want or need something that you'd see like at, I don't know. I'm from the DMV, so my first thought is Kennedy Center, but I don't know what the Bay Area equivalent is to that. Um, it's not what you'd see in school, right? So that's wanting to name that as well. But what we're looking for in these applications um, is clarity, fleshed out idea, that community connection. We want to, make sure you have a team as well. That's really, really big. Um, while it is, you know, shout out to the folks who can do it all. That's not real. That's not something that we amplify or not amplify, but really encourage. We want people who want to and who do work with other people. Um, Also for your sanity, we don't want you to be doing this alone. This is about cultivating and building community. Um, in, like amongst your folks, and then also bringing those communities to this greater space that we're making so that we can create more connection, more collaboration, and things like that. So that is my soapbox. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. That was really helpful.
Of course.
I do have one thing to add to that. I think it would be helpful for us to see within your budget, just a reminder to add. You'll see in the template that there's an income side on it. Do remember to put in the 5K that you would be getting for this program and include that within your budgeting so we can see you actively budgeting out the money that you will be receiving. So like showing like some sort of budget clarity will be really important for us, especially on the production side of things, will be really helpful. And include potential ticket pricing and ticket income that you will be getting, even if it's an estimated amount of folks that will be coming through your doors. Having a good estimate would also be helpful to kind of see the health of our numbers from income and expenses. The expenses might feel big and they might feel like maybe it's not doable, but really check in with yourself and your powers and your team. And remember that you will be having an organization like QCC supporting you and trying to really get the funds that you need and the support that you need to make an event that will probably be like a next step from what you're used to happen.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
so
will add to that. we like grant funding too. We did this year apply um, for the grants along with our cohort members. So we supported folks either with a letter of fiscal sponsorship, not, yeah, a fiscal sponsorship to help folks qualify, or just collaborated with them in applying for grants and funding. So I definitely would add grants. I would definitely would add potential sponsorships. Like, if you, well, I think, yeah, it would be good to add where or if you hope to diversify funding, especially if the numbers start to feel big. And then I will also say that, you know, once you have those numbers, or maybe it's the other way around, right? I don't know. It's your process for how you budget, but your ideas, making sure your budget and your ideas are in a similar space. Um, we we have been in spaces where, we that is a part of the process sometimes, is like, okay, well, we have this much, can we do this? And some of it is like, that negotiation space. But the more awareness you have around how much you can do with how much money you have or plan to get, emphasis on the plan to get, you don't have to have that ready available. Really just want to emphasize that, right? Like, we teach y'all about sponsorship, we support y'all with finding grants, all of that. um but yeah, please do consider that. Yeah. Okay, now we got 9 minutes left. Any other questions before we hit the 7:30 mark? Or Vienna, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some questions that might have come up last year for folks. Um, but I think I'm blinking out. I know it's a short timeline. Like, sometimes the grant applications are leave you a little bit longer time. Um, yeah.
So it doesn't have to be, once again, like perfect, but clear. We're not expecting like grant level, but clarity about the who, what, where, when, and how would be great. I do want to emphasize that we do provide some support on the like on some of your production costs. So not everything is coming from your $5,000 stipend. Once y'all get into the cohort, we provide a like line item split of like, this is what your costs cover, the commission covers, this is what QCC can cover. Our budget is still in the works, so that number is in the works. But last year or this past year, we've been, able to support folks with um, a good size of their production costs. Not everything, but
Mhm.
um, you know, any other questions? I'll give us one more minute as a last call.
I guess I also want to like put a little bit of love to individual artists who are doing shows on their own and are not collectives and isn't like a party or something really big where it involves a bunch of people. I do want to highlight like Lynn's unfolding sound bath that's happening. It's their work as a musician, and they're collaborating with an audio sound designer, and they're providing a sound bath using their work. And a lot of their commission went to paying themselves and their collaborator. So there is definitely still room for individual artists who are trying to have expositions or exhibitions or stuff like that that just focuses on their own work. And we understand that within that same work, it ripples out to your communities, especially within an event. This is going to be a 30-person show with two different time slots of 1 hour. So I do want to give that space for folks to think about this program within an individual artistic practice.
Yeah. And I will name something that Lynn did that really made their project stand out as opposed to other individual events was really emphasized how they were like how their theme was linking directly to community and really aligned with the NQAF 2025 theme. So even if you are individual, even if you aren't like a team, like Vienna's saying, that's fine, but just please have that connection point. Very, really emphasize that.
I have a question. What's the length of time? Because something that Vienna just said, I don't know if he said something about uh 30 people in one event. Like I just want to make sure I heard that correctly. Like what's the length of time? Is your event on its own night, or like is it an hour to 90 minutes, or are you looking for people to kind of share shorter events? I'm just kind of trying to get a sense of um to make sure that I understand the length of time of like a typical event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. We have events that are 2 hours long with actual showtime being 2 hours, and then there's always the hour of doors open, letting folks come into the space, intermissions or switch out, and then like close out. So even though your actual showtime of your event is 2 hours, usually within production timeline, we kind of add it and fluff it out a little bit. That gives us like that intro and outro timing. And then we have an event like Pachacuti that is from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. So it's like a nightlife event that's about 8 hours for the shift, right? Because we kind of added in the beginning and added to the end. The poetry reading is 3 hours long with there's like some poetry. So it's the poetry reading is like the opening event, and then throughout the whole month at their venue, a lot of the work that they display in the reading will stay up. So that's like considered like an exhibition that stays up throughout the month of June. But we really focus on supporting them for their opening event of that show. So we're not really, I don't think we have like a time limit on your event. It's like Dre say, we really try and see like whether or not you were able to understand the length of your project and the concept of it and putting it into something that feels like a solid plan.
Thank you so much. That's really helpful.
Of course.
Okay, y'all, we got a couple more minutes here. Anybody else have any final questions? All right. Well, if all hearts and minds are complete, thank you.